Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel on this very warm, warm Sunday afternoon, early evening. And back to the memorable playoff series. This one is the 1988. Move it up here a little bit. This is the 1988 Wales Conference Final. Now, what's memorable about this, at least to me, not only the idea that the New Jersey Devils, we're talking back, the late 80s, we were talking about teams that, could just make the playoffs and kind of come out of nowhere and make a run. Well, that was New Jersey here. New Jersey, they finished fourth in the Patrick division this year. In 80 games, they went 38, 36, and 6. 82 points. Not that great, but it was good enough to get into the playoffs in the Patrick division. And they kind of had a couple of upsets to get to where they got. Now they're playing the Boston Bruins, a team that definitely was an overwhelming favorite. And they finished first in the Adams division. I don't know, mixing up the divisions again. The Adams division, they finished first, and they were kind of expected to get to this point. Well, this series is mainly remembered, at least for me, that makes it real memorable for one particular reason, and we'll get to that as we get going here. But game one, it's game one. We get into game one in Boston, and the Bruins they end up winning. They end up winning the game 5-3. We start out in the first period at 8:48. They get on the board first. It's Glenn Wesley from Willie Plett and Randy Burridge. So that makes it 1-0 Boston. Then that ends up being the score at the end of the first. Into the second period, Boston increases their lead. It is at 2:38. It is Steve Casper from Randy Burridge and Willie Plett, and same two guys involved in the first two in the very first goal, involved in the second one. And then at 9:40 of the first period, it is Craig Janney from Cam Neely to make it 3-0 on the power play. So it's 3-0 lead. We're talking 1988. It's a 3-0 lead. This game's over, right? Not so fast. At 11:26, not 11:46, 11:26, it is Tom Curvers from Pat Verbeek and Aaron Broughton. Aaron Broughton, of course, his brother Neil is a little more famous, but the Broughton brothers, they all played in the league, and so that makes it 3-1, and gives the Devils a little life. Well, then at 13:45, it is Jack O'Callahan, 1980 Miracle on Ice member. That's one of the big reasons he was he's remembered for. He makes it 3-2 at 13:45 from Aaron Broughton and Tom Curvers. So it's 3-2 after two. Then early in the third period on the power play at 2:48, the Devils tie the game. It is Tom Curvers from Broughton and O'Callahan. So the Devils have fallen behind 3-0 in the game. They climb all the way back to tie the game at 3 apiece. And then Boston says, "Yeah, no, we're gonna put a stop to this." At 3:56, it is Ray Bork from Kenny Lensman and Kevin Crowder. So that makes it 4-3. And then at 16:05, it is Kenny Lensman scoring from Bob Sweeney and Crowder to make it 5-3, and that is the final for Game 1. The Bruins win 5-3. They take a 1-0 lead. And the goaltenders for New Jersey, it was Bob Sauvé. He stopped 25 of 30 for an .833 save percentage. And then Reggie Lemelin for the Boston Bruins, he stopped 25 of 28 for an .893 save percentage. So, I mean, not the greatest save percentages in the world, but again, we are talking about the late 80s here. So we get into Game 2, and the New Jersey Devils, they climb back, they claw back into this. In the first period, on the power play, it is Crowder from Linsman and Glenn Wesley to make it 1-0 Boston. So Boston jumps up early. They're trying to set the tone for the game. That was on the power play, but it doesn't stay that way, because on the power play at 11:38, it is Pat Verbeek from Bruce Driver and Tom Curvers. So that ties the game at 1 apiece. And if there's one thing about New Jersey, they fought. I mean, they fought their tails off in these games. And then again on the power play at 16:20, it is Aaron Broughton scoring from Kirk Muller and Pat Verbeek. So that gives New Jersey a 2-1 lead, their first lead in the series. Comes all the way, 3/4 of the way through the first period of Game 2. Then, so that's how the first period ends. There's no scoring in the second period. Then we get into the third period, and Boston, they tie the game. It is Bob Joyce from Cam Neely and Craig Janney. So that's 2-2, and then that's the final after 3. So then we go into overtime, and in the overtime period, at 17:46, it is Doug Brown from Joe Sorella and Velishek. What was his first name? I'm thinking Randy. I think Randy Velishek might have been the name. Let's see if I can find him. Yep, Randy Velishek. So that wins the game for New Jersey. They tie the series at 1 apiece with a 3-2 victory in overtime. In goal, we had a little change up from Game 1. Instead of Bob Sauvé in Game 2, it is Sean Burke. Sean Burke, we're all pretty familiar with. Ended up being a pretty darn good goaltender throughout his career. He stopped 39 of 41 for a .951 save percentage. And then Reggie Lemelin stopped 30 of 33 for a .909 save percentage. We got a tie series. Then we get into Game 3. This is the memorable part. This is the memorable one. The Bruins, they take command here in this game. I mean, this game is just it's all Boston. At 1:05 there's no scoring in the first period. We get into the second period, and a little over a minute into the second period on the power play, it is Linsman from Bork. So that makes it 1-0. And then almost 1 minute later on the power play again, it is Joyce from Gord Kluzak and Ray Bork. It's 2-0 Boston. And then not too long after that, it is Lynn Byers. I was looking this up when I was doing these too. Let's see. That's if the computer will be good to me here. And where is he at? I cannot find. Oh, he's not, really? Wow. For some reason he's not exactly there on the on the little roster there. But it's Byers from Casper and Bork to make it 3-0. And then at 10:52, it is Kluzak from Casper and Linsman. And so, I mean, this game's getting out of control here. But then New Jersey, they try to climb back into it on the power play at 14:58. A name who would end up becoming a pretty good player in the league. It is Brendan Shanahan from Kenny Danico and Patrick Sundstrom. So it's 4-1 for Boston. Oh God, I really mixed that up. I literally just noticed that. I screwed that. Hang on. Here, that's 4. There's the 1. Boy, I really mixed. Yeah, I mixed that stuff up, didn't I? I did that on all of these. Okay, there we go. Now that that's figured out right. Shanahan makes it 4-1, but that's as close as New Jersey gets, because then at 7:05, it is Linsman from Crowder to make it 5-1. So after being a scoreless first period, in the second period, the goals just explode. It is 5-1 after 2. And then in the third period, it is Tom McCarthy from Linsman and Lemelin. So the goaltender gets an assist here to make it 6-1. The goaltenders here, of course, Reggie Lemelin stopped 23 of 24 for a .958 save percentage. Bob Sauvé, Burke comes in initially. He stops 8 of 11 for a .727 save percentage, and then Sauvé comes in. He stops 17 of 20 for an .850 save percentage. And this game, this is where it's Don Koharski, the head referee for the game, and Jim Schoenfeld, the coach of the New Jersey Devils. They kind of had a back and forth going throughout the game. Schoenfeld was not liking how the game was being officiated, and the officials go back. This is after the game. The officials go back, and they're going back and forth, and Koharski, as they're walking by each other, as Schoenfeld is still trying to talk to him, Koharski he trips. He goes, he like trips on his own foot or something. And then people go and start saying, "Oh, he pushed him. And Schoenfeld is just going crazy. I didn't shove you. You tripped. You fat pig. And all that stuff. And Koharski's walking down the aisle. There's Schoenfeld. Have another donut. Have another donut, you fat pig. It's just one of the funniest. It's one of the funniest backstage locker room type videos you'd ever see. Jim Schoenfeld was just going off, and the referees they wanted to boycott. They were threatening to boycott the next game because they literally thought Schoenfeld tripped Koharski. But anytime you go back and look at that, you go back and you watch that video, he didn't trip him. Koharski basically he tripped. Like I said, I don't know if he was walking and he just tripped over his own foot or what the deal was, but people going and saying, "Oh, you shoved me," and he's like, "I didn't shove you. You tripped. You tripped. Just the whole fat pig and have another donut is just one of the most classic lines ever." But they didn't end up boycotting, and Schoenfeld, of course, Schoenfeld became. In a way, you go back and you look at that video and you just kind of makes you a fan of Jim Schoenfeld. But the Bruins are up 2-1 in the series, and that's one of the more memorable parts of this series for sure. I mean, it was a great series. It still ended up being a great series, but that's the one that I think a lot of people will remember is Jim Schoenfeld versus Don Koharski. One of the more classic videos you'll ever watch. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on YouTube. So we get into game 4, and New Jersey responds. They get on the board first in game 4. It is at 10:47. It is Dave Malley makes it 1-0 from Claude Loisel and Doug Sullivan. Then they jump up 2-0 in the first period, unassisted, Pat Verbeek at 11:32. So not even a minute after the first goal, the Devils jump right back in. They get that 2-goal lead, and that's the end that's the score after the first period. Then the second period comes, and the Bruins try to get back into it. It is Cam Neely at 12:31 on the power play from Craig Janney and Bob Joyce. It is that cuts the lead in half, 2-1 for New Jersey. That's the end of the second period. And then in the third period at 4:04, it is Tom Curvers from Brendan Shanahan and John McClain. That makes it 3-1, and that's your final. So the Devils, they climb right back into the series. They tie the series at 2. It is, and Reggie Lemelin for the Bruins, he stopped 15 of 18 for an .833 save percentage. Sean Burke responded really well, stopping 33 of 34 for a .971 save percentage in the game. Great response by the Devils, and a great comeback game for Sean Burke. So then game 5, and one thing I noticed as I was going through this is every time New Jersey responded, Boston responded even bigger. So game 5, this was definitely not in any doubt. At 12:12 on the power play though, the first period, it is Michael Felvin, however it's pronounced. Not entirely positive, but he scores to make it 1-0 from Craig Janney and Glenn Wesley. That's on the power play. So it's 1-0 Boston. And then at 17:24 on the power play, it is Craig Janney from Wesley and Bork. That makes it 2-0 Boston. But then again, here's New Jersey trying to get back into the game. At 18:05, it is Brendan Shanahan from Curvers and Broughton, 2-1. So you're thinking, okay, maybe New Jersey's got a shot here. Yeah, Boston snuffs that out after the first period. It's close after the first period. Yeah, that's as close as it gets. Second period, at 6:15, it is Crowder from Linsman and Don Sweeney. That makes it 3-1. Don Sweeney, of course, he's the current general manager of the Boston Bruins. And then at 8:41, it is Joyce to make it 4-1 from Janney and Neely. So it's 4-1 after 2. And, it's just going to get worse. And then 3:28 into the third period, it is Joyce again from Janney and Bork. That makes it 5-1. And then at 9:05 on the power play, it is Linsman from Wesley. Makes it 6-1 in favor of the Boston Bruins. And then at 9:29, just to kind of put the icing on the cake, as if 6-1 wasn't bad enough, no, it's Bob Sweeney at 9:29. Makes it 7-1. And, yeah. Oh, that's Bob Sweeney, not Don Sweeney. Wrong Sweeney. I gotta make sure Bob Sweeney. So Bob Sweeney makes it 7-1. That puts the Bruins up 3-2, and just one win away from the Stanley Cup final. Sean Burke, not after responding after a pretty good game. Yeah, he didn't have a great game in this one. He stopped 24 of 31 for a .774 save percentage. Reggie Lemelin 24 of 25 for a 960 save percentage. Pretty good, pretty good game from Lemelin there. So then game 6, here's New Jersey, that fight back. New Jersey's got that fight. They come and they tie the series. At 157, though, it is Willie Plett unassisted. So you're thinking, okay, Boston's going to try to wrap this up. So Plett scores barely, not even 2 minutes into the game. It's 1-0 Boston. But again, New Jersey, they go and they tie the game at 15:40. It is Mark Johnson from Joe Cirella ties the game at 1. And then at 18:15 to make it 2-1, it is Johnson again from Sundstrom and Craig Wolanin. So that's 2-1. It is 2-1 after 1 in favor of New Jersey. Second period, Boston, they come and they tie the game. On the power play, it is Sweeney from McCarthy to make it 2-2. So we got a tie game right there about midway through the second period. But just after the midway part of the second period, to make it 3-2 New Jersey, it is Doug Brown from Andy Brickley and Craig Wolanin, 3-2 in favor of New Jersey. But again, Boston, they don't get down. At 14:17, it is Thelvin to tie the game from Burridge and Wesley. So we got a 3-3 game, getting toward the end of the second period. But before the second period ends, at 17:12, it is John McClain from Sundstrom and Cirella. John McClain, a hockey player, not Bruce Willis in Die Hard. But the second period ends at 4-3 in favor of New Jersey. Third period comes, New Jersey, they increase their lead. It is Pat Conacher to make it 5-3 from Malley and Loisel. That makes it 5-3, 2:45 into the third. And then they put the game away on the power play at 17:30. It is Sundstrom from Johnson and Curvers. That makes it 6-3 in favor of New Jersey. And that's the win. So the Devils, a number 4 seed, here they are in the Wales Conference Final. They're one win away from the Stanley Cup Final. Can they get there? No, they cannot. That's kind of where the Cinderella story ends. But in Game 6, Lemelin got yanked early in this one. He gave up. He stopped only 8 of 13 for a .615 save percentage. Andy Moog comes in. Andy Moog, he ended up being a pretty good goaltender in his day too. He then stopped 14 of 15 for a .933 save percentage, and then Burke stopped 26 of 29 for an .897 save percentage, and it was pretty good performance for New Jersey in this game. And then Game 7, and did I forget? I did. I forgot to write down the goalie stats for the 7th game. Yeah, let me do that real quick here. And this was, yeah. All right, we'll just write it down. We'll just write it right here. Yeah, just talk amongst yourselves as I do this. Just if you feel like. Hopefully this doesn't make it turn the video off completely. So there's that. Then we go down here and yeah. Yeah, every now and then I forget to throw something in here. Like this one. And yep. Okay, there we go. That might help a little bit. So we get into the 7th game, and again, Boston kind of dominates. They jump up first in the first period. It is Craig Janney at 8:59 on the power play from Bork and Kluzak. That makes it 1-0. And then at 11:59, it is LeMay from Felvin and Wesley. That makes it 2-0. So the Bruins are up 2-0 after 1. We get into the second period. At 2:57, it's Rick Middleton from Bork. That makes it 3-0 Boston. The Boston Garden crowd loving it. And so they're up 3-0. But again, New Jersey, they know how to fight back. At 15:28, it is McLean from Solomon. That makes it 3-1. So, they get a little closer to end the first period. There's no scoring in the second. In the third period, though, they draw within 1, New Jersey does. At 3:41, it is Kirk Muller from Broughton and McLean. So again, here's New Jersey. They fall behind 3-0. They claw back. They make it 3-2. But that is as close as they get. At 12:05 of the third, it is Craig Janney unassisted. That makes it 4-2. Then at 13:19, it is Cam Neely from Casper and Bork, or Casper and Burridge. That makes it 5-2. And then into the empty net, shorthanded, it is at 19:36. It is Linsman from Middleton. That makes it 6-2. And that is your final for Game 7. The Boston Bruins end the Cinderella trip of the New Jersey Devils. And yeah, Sean Burke stopped 25 of 30 for an .833 save percentage. Not the best. Lemelin stopped 17 of 19 for an .895 save percentage. He didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot, as Boston kind of dominated the game. And yeah, so New Jersey, they come up just a little bit short. The Boston Bruins, they move on to the Stanley Cup Final, where they would end up losing to the Edmonton Oilers. But this series was fun. This series was a fun series by a number 4 seed. See, it didn't seem to matter what playoff setup you have. You're going to have upsets. You're going to have a team that all of a sudden kind of comes out of nowhere and just shocks people. And this was the New Jersey Devils, who came up and they shocked some people. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Especially if any of you guys were old enough to remember this series. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hopefully you did. If you really liked the video, hit that subscribe button. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I appreciate and love every one of my subscribers. And yeah, these little history videos are fun. I'm glad I can look back at some of these memorable series and just see and remember how fun they were. Because I was looking at a number of different series in this one, and this one, this series stands out so much, mainly because, well, when you have Jim Schoenfeld versus Don Koharski, yeah, that's kind of what won me over to pick this series for my memorable series in 1988. So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, if you'd like to share this video or any other videos with friends, family, whoever, go ahead and do that. That would be fantastic. And yeah, the next one will be from 1989. Which, what one do I have on that one? This one I think is going to be a pretty good one too. Yep. The 1989 one's going to be kind of fun too. So, again, let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe. Hit that share button also. And I'll see you guys later.